everyone, you're watching Jana FX. In this video I'll make technical analysis for the coming week. We'll have a look at main pairs, important levels and possible entry points, and if you're interested in Bitcoin, it is right at the end of this video. Okay, and we're starting with euro dollar as usual. 4-hour chart. So as we can see, this is where the market stopped, and it's actually moved down to 117, had a little bit of breakout and came back. So not much of the movements this week, but pretty much as expected, that it will go below 117, and I was expecting a possible correction, which it did really have, but not much, but still. So what expecting now at this moment? Well, let's go on a daily chart so I can show you that we are still underneath the triangle, right? This was the big one, that's the level, so it sits underneath it, and we have, it's still jumped below 117 but above it right now, and the previous bottom is lower than the new one is created. So you see, I could put a little bit of the channel up, right? So of course now expectation of this move, a correction, right? So for possible correction, maybe go back to 118, and we have another level here from our triangle. So my expectation would be, I mean, at this moment I'm still bearish with euro. There will be news this week and next week for American dollar, which is important. So my expectation would be possibly, of course, to see where the market is going to be during the news, before the news event, right, and how the reaction will be. But technical view would be that possibly we go to this area, right, go for correction in here, where is 118. And creating another like top or something, not breaking through, and from here, if it will not break this area, then my expectation would be it will go and will take these bottoms and go in further. So you see 116 is quite a big level here, and I would expect that it should go to that and maybe even break it a bit and somewhere slightly more down, and then this is where I will be looking for a buys, okay, underneath here. Of course, it can stop at wherever you can, like for example, use Fibonacci levels to see where the next one could be, which is like we have 50 level, which is probably about 15. So it's 14 roughly, like, yeah, let's say about 15. So it could go to somewhere to that level, or maybe slightly above it can be stopped, or below. So that's what I'm saying, you know, if it will break 116, it can stop anywhere it wants. It might just have a little pin or come back, but I will be looking at around this area. So I'm talking about this possibility because it could be news, right? There will be news, but it could be like the moves. And at the same time, so yes, it does look like it might create a double top, bottom and turn around. So it's quite possible, if the news are going to be good, a bad for dollar, and then the euro can have its return. So that's my one possibility at this moment. So yeah, like going here, have a bit of a correction, and then we're breaking down and smashing all those levels. At the same time, once again, like I'm saying, another position could be, of course, it might go all the way and go even higher and give us next stop who knows where, because we're in the uptrend channel, right? So right now we could create this a little bit of uptrend channel, but because of the strong levels in here, double, that's why my expectation that it will be stopping. But of course it might go all the way and then go higher, and then have, if the news are not as strong, it might have a bit of a move down, and then with the news continue the way up, and then we will see. It's a big field to play. At this moment I'm still looking at under 118 and go lower. So that's my view at this moment. Yeah, my entry point, to be honest, because it's a little bit like unclear, it sits like it's a little bit flat. You see this week just had some bits of movements, like I'm saying, not didn't go for a bit of a more correction as expected. So I just want to see what's going to happen here. You see, problem is here is because 1 hour chart, again, you see the previous top, the week, it's it filled it in, but stopped a little bit below it. Here it's a little bit above it, so it's kind of pretty much looking more on a smaller time frame like a bit of a triangle, right? So not in trend, because if that would be an up, this would have broke a little bit higher, then I could have connected and make it another little uptrend, right? But it's like you can see something like this would have been quite nice to do, right? But that stopped a little bit below that one. So you see, that's why from here, basically it might go, it's very small movement. So if, for example, from here looking for place in the orders, it could stop right here somewhere. Might go a little bit higher somewhere around here, yes. But it could be small, going a little bit up and then turn around, right? So that's quite possible, can be. Of course, at the same time, it might from here like create a little bit of consolidation, and then we'll try to take the tops and go even higher. So that's like the one of the expectation I have at this moment, that something like that, and then not smash in this area and going still down. Okay, so that quite possibly be, and see if I will try to, if it will consolidate, like place the same time orders here and see, it could be stopped here again, or like the smashing as I wanted it to go. Well, my most expectation, like taking those, but still first a bit of a correction. Yes, I can do so, but like I don't really like this at this moment, so that's why maybe I want to wait a little bit longer for a bit better possible entry point, right? Okay, because in here it's like looking like a little bit more going for a bit of a correction. So and like I'm saying, because the expectation of the news are coming, it quite possible could be a little bit, might go in just a bit of a flat, and then with the news it will make the finally good move. So that's why my point is, maybe I'll wait for the before the news come out, before the news, where the market will be. Okay, so that's we will see, but I will leave it at this, looking like this at this moment, and so with the first expectation, the possible going for correction. Okay, so we will see, but right now I don't want to go into any trades. So pound dollar. Okay, so I'm showing you the daily chart because you see, with the euro dollar, it stays underneath our triangle, right? The pound actually inside, that's the triangle, right? And it's like broke a little bit, you see, but again stopped about the same as the previous bottom, but higher than another one. So that's inside the triangle. It's tried to break it but came back. So is that this picture is more, you see, like not like in euro, it's underneath the triangle, this is inside, and that's why this one is more looking like possibly will go higher, right? So it's created another bottom, and possibly it might go create another like top now, but at the same time, of course, it might just came back and sit in here and then try to break out, which is again possibly could be the news is help, right, for the next direction. It's quite jumpy, quite volatile. You see this week, we've been here, right, somewhere like in this area, and you see it's broke at the previous bottom and decided to go even further. So it didn't go for any correction yet, right? So it's actually broke even further, and then went for a bit of a correction, but you see first it stopped at our triangle bottom, but then it's broke it and came back. So that's why it's quite easily can continue the way up. You see the same situation in here with the bottoms, not exactly the same, but a little bit more looking towards going up. You see, guys, that's my position at this moment. So that from here it might break 37 and go and try to get to 37.50, right? Because it does like to go halves easily. But again, because I'm still kind of a bit more bearish with this, and it might just go halfway through, like, right, stop behind below this level, below that top. So pretty much if it will go and break and stay below that, then I would be more towards that it will break the bottom and then go further down. Okay, so like the same, I don't have at this moment an entry point. Okay, this is a bigger picture. So you see, guys, the bigger picture, I'm concentrating on this bottom right now, right? Possibly going up. So of course, if they open on the market, if it will not drop straight away, I probably will be looking at placing my orders around this 37 level. So let's see how it opens. If it will go a little bit low, then I would look probably in this area. But if it will go a little bit more like this, then that would be the possible, because I would look at that as a bottom, right? So the higher bottom, and looking at possible buy. But again, going for the smaller, for just 10 pips, right? protect my trade and see if it will try to go higher, breaking the 37.50 and go a little bit higher or even more higher, who knows. So that's the, at this moment, so that's my possible entry point, would be right in this area. So you see I'm not placing any orders at this moment, just looking at that area, and then I will be placing my orders. Okay, so with this, just actually this one might be a little bit, can correct it a little bit with the tops, as you can see here, little touch, here touch, and here touch. So that's why it gives a little bit more room to go higher and get my 10 pips if I need to, but I do really want it a little bit here, because it's just at this moment, yes, it does look like a bit of a double bottom on the 1 hour chart, and so that's why, yes, it can be this, but it might stick and give the pin. Of course, it could be this possibility of pins and fakes, but that's my first possible entry point, and then we will see if it will go up higher. Then we will see for the next where it's going to stop, where the next top, and for the next possible entry points, and of course according with the news. If it will go down, of course we have here cross again, like next 36, and so then we will see where to look at here, like, I mean, again 36.5 at this moment is slightly above it, so could be, again, you see like it was sitting here a little bit, so we will see. Australian dollar for our chart, again here, so moved a little bit down, pretty much, again touched the previous one of the levels, had a bit of the jumps, went for a bit of a correction, so like pretty much expectation of the big move, and a bit of a correction. So you see here also it's going, I can put once again on into the uptrend, right, and see if it, like I'm saying, might go for those corrections for the movements. So you see here we have kind of top, so of course the expectation would be possible to continue, you know, the way up, and then who knows, stopping this level, going higher, stopping somewhere else, and then you know, if it will not get to the next stop or stop somewhere, then of course expectation would be it will go more down. But at this moment we do have a little bit of the turning point, right? So that bottom, this is the daily chart, and so in here also a little bit it started to go also a little bit higher, so pretty much also can draw a little bit that could possibly be, because you see it's breaking the previous, you see that's how you change it, right? So we did have pretty much on the same level, and the next one goes slightly higher, the tops are also higher, so that's why of course expectations from here we should possibly go and try to break higher. But of course from here it could be also going and not breaking that top, right? So if it will go to there without breaking it, maybe sitting here, consolidating, and then we're breaking and go smashing that level. So that's my scenario at this moment, how I look at Australian dollar. So if, like, again, open the market, not much of the jumps or anything, so that could be a possible entry point. You see, again, small, going for the small trades, and you see it could be stopping, so 20 pips going, just a little bit, 30 maybe, plus minus, like I'm saying, wherever you're in a trade, try to protect it, because you see the market's not, again, it was quite a bit of the flat, and we're going to have those news, so you need to be careful not to go for like a long term, I would say, at this moment, because like I'm saying, it could be all changed with the news. So that's why here, if it will sit a little bit, looking for possible buys and see if it will break it or not. If it will go higher, then of course I will be looking at next possible entry points. Of course now recording would be at that channel, and then you see sell, I don't want to place any, because if I'll place any sell pending order, it's, well, I mean, it's okay, 20 something could go down, and of course expectation of smashing it. But at this moment, because if there will be no news, the technical view, it should continue inside this channel, right? Because it's got out from our downtrend, and now it's changing direction, giving us the tops higher and the bottoms higher, and that's why this one technical expectation going up for the next top, but with the possible stop. Okay, so this would be a perfect area if it, for example, goes and prepares for the news events, so can place pending buy orders, pending sell, and then it could be this move, nicer moves and bigger take profits. But while it's in here, it could possibly go just for the small one, who knows. It's like I'm saying again, because it might take an advantage at this moment and go like a bit more technically, and then go even higher, and maybe before news it might sit in somewhere in here a little bit higher, right? Higher this top out there somewhere, prepare for the news, right? So yes, possibly, but this moment we're looking at technical picture, and that's my picture in here. So you see, like I'm saying, I'm not placing the orders now, because look at the spreads. With the opening of the market, we need spreads to come down, and then see if it's slow and little, then I will be placing my orders. Dollar Canadian, as you can see, guys, at this moment also, according to the scenario of going, dollar going down against Canadian, we also have oil went up a bit, and remember I was telling you pretty much for quite a while that we need another bottom to turn it around, right? Because it's in a downtrend channel still. This looks like a bit of a correction, and until we have this bottom, so we can connect it and then put it into uptrend in the bigger time frames. But of course, let's go on the smaller ones, and well, let's do the 4-hour time frame. So let's see what happened. You see here it's actually broke, right, the previous top. It even went even higher, so it's like really jumpy. This pair also very volatile, and you see it did not break our previous top, the big one, and it went down. Okay, so smashing all those little bottoms on the way, like creating, like stopping here, creating lower, you see, smashing it again, creating lower and smashing it again. So right now, yes, we can say that this bottom is slightly below this, but slightly above this one and the main, like wherever, like that line. So, but it's quite good to collect it all, isn't it? So that's why I would have really looked into from here going down and collect all of those bottoms. But of course, at the same time, I will not be excluding that it might go again for another, correction, something of this little move. So for example, if the market opens, I would probably still looking into placing the sell pending order from here, and looking towards it's smashing all those little bottoms, taking them and stopping, who knows at which next, how strong it might be. At the same time, like I'm saying, of course, need to look at how oil will be going. It might just start to consolidate in this area, right? So like I'm saying, it might go for a little bit of that correction, could stop somewhere in here, and then go like where I look at this, as I'm trying to say, show you here. You see this the bottom, and that one stopped slightly above the previous one, so that's why in here it might sit a little bit and still try to go up for correction of that movement, right? So yes, it can do so from here, and for example, can go into somewhere like only 20 pips. Yes, can be, maybe could be a little bit higher, but not breaking that top, so stopping. So that's why, like I'm saying, if it's not going to, it's a bit riskier, but I probably will be doing this if it's not going to have jumps ups or down. So that would be my, I'll place the sell pending order from those bottoms with a bit of a distance, and hopefully towards more down. If it will go back up, so then I will look if it will get to this top or below and then started to sit, and then I will be looking and possibly placing orders for sell and looking at towards going down. If it will, of course, from here you see it might go up a bit, then go back down again, but not smashing this. Then I will probably looking at maybe placing in both directions, buy and sell, because yes, it might go a little bit, then slightly above, and then might actually try to go even higher again, trying to take that top. But again, like I'm saying, need to really look at what's happening with the oil and wherever is happening with the news, before news or something else. So that would be my views to look at it. Okay, so looking at this area first, possible somewhere in the middle, and walking around here, and of course if it will be trying to break it, going higher, where it's going to stay again. The next stop, of course, I'll be looking at, and probably would better to move it, like you see, this is the next stops to look for it. Okay, but that's the first one to go for. Okay, so I do have this level here is quite a lot of what's going on out here, but that's the next stop. Okay, so a possible, so for example, you see, I would have more, if it will not break it and sit or something, even give us a pin, then it would be more like it's definitely going down and smashing it all. But from here it's also already can do so. So that's why I will be looking at that first. Dollar yen, okay, so on a 4-hour chart, let's see what happened this week. So from here, you see it's still play around with this area, and after even breaking it, right, coming back, it didn't go up straight away. You see, it decided to go down again. Okay, so that's how foolish it can be, like to fool people, right? Because we were expecting, oh yeah, it's broke, then it came back, so it's a false breakout, came back, and now it's going to all the way up. So you see, it's decided to go down again and then come back again. So but that wasn't not unexpected, because I was warning you about this, right? We were in a downtrend. This was look like a triangle or wedge, wherever. It's more like a wedge, and I was telling you it does look like it could be flat, right? In this area we're sitting, could be jumps ups and down. I warned you about dollar yen, and it's exactly what started to happen. You see, it started to break out, break out, back up again. Okay, so what is it now? At this moment, you see it's gone to the next top, but didn't break it. So I'm showing you right now a bigger time frame. So what the expectation from here would be, of course, as we didn't break any further, right? And the bottom, the previous one, that bottom where we started to have this kind of uptrend, it wasn't broken. And so because it didn't also break that one, I mean, of course, if you open the market, it might break it, but because it didn't, from here, I would expect possible a bit of a correction, right? Maybe staying inside this level. It might go down a little bit, but I would probably more safe if it will go and stay in here, and then might even sit in here with the news, the next move. But let's say technically for me it would be a bit of a correction, not breaking this, and from here jump and smash on that top, and then go to the next one. Okay, and then again it's either will break it or stop, right? Stop underneath. And if it will stop somewhere underneath, then I would be more like towards it should go smash, where we will have here, and even go further. And then depends if it will be strong enough to stop here, or actually smashing all the bottoms. So my most expectation, if we are not smashing this top, more looking like it's going to go down and take all of these bottoms at least, and then possibly be stopped by like whatever 107, 75, something like it, maybe 108. Higher than this bottom, so right, so not still exactly going completely down, but have a stop and then possibly reverse. Okay, so this could be one of these scenarios. So it just first expectation, like I'm saying, because of the news there could be these big moves, right? But before the news, who knows? Like technically, that's what I would say. So if we're not breaking it, so if it will break through, and again if it will break it and give a pin and come back again, then could possibly again from here I probably will be looking at placing then sell order. So if it will give jump and a pin, well, this is a daily chart. Of course I will be looking on a smaller time frames, like 1 hour chart, because I don't want to have bigger stop losses, right? So for example, you see here it started to go down a bit. Yes, from here, that's what I'm saying, it might go for a bit of a correction, but for me, for example, I can't here enter. It's not, didn't consolidate, it didn't give me any accumulation. That's why it might just go down a little bit and then come back and then try to smash it. So if it, like I'm saying here, it will sit and then give a pin and come back, then I will be placing my sell pending order. So, and then expecting maybe stopping in here somewhere or that level. See, so it could be not bad, at least, well, taking that bottom, right, this little one previous at least, but I need a bit of accumulation. So if it will go straight down, then I will see where it goes to that bottom, maybe lower, and then we'll start to sit, and then we'll see what to do, right? So afterwards, but this moment I'm looking at this. If it will jump up straight away before a nice candle and then just sit above it, then I will just see what to do next, because yes, it still might go back, but when it's a pin, it's more chances it will turn around. If it's a proper candle, more chances it might continue the way up. Okay, so that's what we will see when what is going to happen here before the news, and where it's going to stay. But that's the area to look at. And like, for example, like I'm saying, I'm not jumping into sell orders here right now. I need this a bit of accumulation. Even like I'm saying, even if it will move nicely down, to be honest guys, if it will move like to this bottom and will not break it and start to sit in here, then I would say I probably will look more than because it's a 1 hour time frame, and it's definitely a little bottom here, right? So maybe even like this, not straight, but we will see, because as you can see, it started to go higher and higher, but we do have a little pin here, which means it might go back for that pin. But like I'm saying, yes, not right now, but takes the trying to go higher first, right? And then if it will not take the tops, then go all the way down, and of course that pin will be taken. But of course it might take all the way, come back again, being a bit again fooling people. See, yeah, it's like, okay, I broke from this area, now I want to come back again. It can do things like, yes, we have all of these scenarios and possible entry points. Like I'm saying, going for smaller take profits is always safer. So from here, see, if it will start to sit here, then I probably will be looking at possible entry like buys more and trying to break finally that level and go higher. So that's my view. Pound yen, okay, so I had actually my sell here, right, nicely walked down as expected and closed out. So right now I don't have anything. I didn't get into the buy, so couldn't get in here, but so what is it now? Of course, I'm still more towards negative pound, but look at this, at this moment, like yen is a little bit weaker, as we can see with the dollar yen, right, and some other yen pairs. And here the picture is, again, we had that level, right, as an uptrend changing. We had this bottom, and look, previously didn't break it and came back, but didn't have enough energy, right, to go to the next top. But again, it's broke a little bit this bottom, but stopped above this one, right, the previous one, that. So that's why from here, I would not be surprised that it will be trying to go up and taking the stops, okay, go up, taking the stops, and then who knows, wherever it would want to try to break this or stop below, maybe some more consolidation, and then it could possibly continue the way up again if it will go back in here, or maybe it will be trying to break down. So yes, the possibilities, and of course at the same time I'm not going to exclude that it will go down inside this channel. But like I'm saying, at this moment it's still at this situation, it looks a little bit like it's trying to go up. Okay, so we do have we don't have a top, you see, the top should be below this one, kind of, right, to continue the way down. And here we don't have accumulation, it's just a little pin, but there is no accumulation, there is no creation of the top. So that's why until then you can't, I'm more towards the top might be created higher, okay, the next top might be created higher, so it might trying to get out from this downtrend channel. So, and now going on a smaller time frames, so you see in here it's also very wide, even like I like 1 hour time frame to get in, it's a bit wide. So from here, of course, for me, for example, it would be better to like place the buy pending order from here and pending order sell still from around here, but it's very wide, so that's why I'm not going to do it. I want to have a bit more narrow, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to wait a bit, right? So you see what can happen in here first. From here it might go like I'm saying, you see, might go here and accumulate, right? At the same time it might go for a bit of a correction, so maybe I will wait for that and see if it will stop somewhere in the middle here, above this previous bottom, you see, guys. So if it will go down in here and start to accumulate and give like a little pin, so creating us another bottom, then I would be like, let's say, more towards that. From here it will be going and smashing these tops and going back inside the channel, okay? So that would be a little bit more like a safer, let's say, from here going a bit correction of this movement, and then we are going back up. So, but it might not happen, right? So that's why the next one, I do really want a little bit of concentration in here and more narrowing. So maybe it will go like in a little triangle, right? So if it will go in a little triangle, then I will be looking at placing orders from that level of concentration of the candles, and from here I will be placing the buy and then expecting a smash in that top and go even higher, trying to take this one too. Okay, so yes, I will see something like that. Of course, you see another danger in here could be, like I'm saying, it could jump and give a pin or something and then turn around and that would be look a little bit like a double top, right? And then it might go all the way down again, but again could go for correction, stop here or maybe here above this, and then again to look for possible buys then, right? Okay, or depends how else it might go around here, and maybe it will continue the way down even further. So this moment it's just a little bit tricky because it's right in the edge, and you know when it's on the edge between one possible entry, one possible jump in and jump into the uptrend or downtrend. So is that it's here, it starts to be again like it was here. You see quite a lot of movements before it's actually broke down, and that's why I want to see a little bit in here what's going to happen. I mean, like I'm saying, it could be for a risky one to place like buy pending order when it's like just in here and above. On a smaller one we saw that a bit of that channel, right? It's created this area, so for example like a buy, but like I'm saying, it could be just a pin, and if it will give a pin, come back and then go for a bit of a correction, and then maybe turn around and actually continue, but it will be already losing trade, right? But I mean, of course, we can take a loss and then make it back when it goes down a bit and then on the way back up. So but it could be, but that's why I just like wait a little bit. I think I'm going to wait a bit in this area, but that's what my view, that quite possibly it might yes, at this moment it can go up, but might go for a bit of a correction first. Euro pound, I had a buy order right around here. I was telling you I closed out because also it didn't break the previous stop. You see, it stopped right about the same area and started to, you know, go backwards. So kind of like started to be very messy as usual. Didn't go for a stronger move. Well, pretty much like again expectation, because there was not much of the news for euro pound as such. I mean, there was some news for pound and got it a little bit stronger. So you see euro like dropped a bit. But it still went as expected. Remember I was telling you about those stops, at least from here, at least to those stops, but you see it did not break it. Okay, so because they did not, it just touched and didn't break, that's why my expectation was it probably will go and break that bottom, which it did, but it's actually stopped above the previous bottom. So you see from here it still might try to, you know, go back up and try to take these stops. Right, so yes, it quite possibly be. Maybe I will see, again, need a little bit more concentration, because at this moment this looks a bit like a correction of this drop, and of course from here it might continue the way down, you see. That's why at this moment it does look like it, and on a smaller time frame, so we will see where to place the orders. You see right now it looks like a little bit could be that bearish flag. So with the opening of the market, once again, if it's not going to be much of the movements, I might place the order. Like you see, there is a bearish flag for sell, maybe, and we will see. I mean, okay, see, it's very, very little again, because it might just drop to this bottom, slightly below or slightly above. So maybe I'll just wait a bit, see what's happened with this movement. And otherwise, remember I was telling you more looking at placing the buy orders around this area when it's going to go down and then come back into here, and so then we will see if maybe if it will go a little bit down but not breaking this bottom, right? So if it will go, we have little bottom, and then if it stays above that one, then I might look at possible entry point in here for buy and expecting it to break and go for higher again. You see, guys, so that's quite possibly could be something like that. So if we'll just not break too much, just go a little bit and then stays, and you see, and then it could be then we'll be trying to do so. But at this moment it's a little bit risky, because like I'm saying, you see, it looks more down because of this not breaking the previous stop and looking a little bit like a bearish little flag. So that's why I just want to wait a little bit. Like you see, we still have these bottoms. Maybe, like I'm saying, it will go down further here and start to sit here again, and then maybe I will look at this again as a possible entry point. We will see at that time where pound will be, if there is anything in the news, because from here, of course, the expectation will be possible, will be trying to go up, but at the same time, again, this stops warning, and it can break and actually take that bottom and go back to this previous bottom, something like that, or maybe slightly higher, go below that bottom but stop above the previous bottom, and we still will be looking then in uptrend channel a bit, but yeah, at this moment we just wait a little bit. Gold also was bearish as I expected, had a correction as expected inside the channel, and stopped right at, again, it's broke a little bit the previous bottom, so obviously didn't break the previous stop, so we're in a downtrend, and in here slightly above, so it might go for a bit of a correction again of this movement, so it looks like a bit of a double bottom, so it might go up higher. So let's see, from here don't want to do anything also. Yes, risky placing a sell pending order from here, because my expectation it will continue the way down, but again the news, right before the news it might go for a bit of a correction, and then we will see. So breaking that top possibly, and stay, not breaking these tops, right, so somewhere possibly staying underneath, and then we'll be looking at possible entry points. If it's, you see, goes, stays underneath, then of course more towards it will go down. If it will try to go on higher somewhere, and then, you know, something like this, and stay above again, so then we can connect this bottom with another bottom, maybe it will be trying to actually turn around, okay. So but at this moment I can't do anything like this, because like we need another top and another bottom, and where is that top and bottom will be, and then we will see if it's changed the direction or is it continue. So but at this moment it's going down, so if it's not going to, you know, break out and just sit in here, that would be a good possible entry point. You see, if it's like just accumulate around here, just could possibly, like I'm saying, the danger here placing the sell, it might have pin come back, because if it's going to wait for the news, it might do all of this foolish to fool people, because a lot of people will be thinking now it should go up and try to buy maybe, and placing lots of stops, so that's why they might like collect those stops. Some people will decide, oh yeah, we're going down, they will start to sell, create more stops, and then they're like, oh, we're going to jump now and take them out. So that could be, just be careful with this area, because of the news coming, okay, so those news coming. But technical view is we are inside the downtrend channel. This bottom is below the previous one. That little one is a little bit high, so it looks like creation of the double, so quite possible going for correction, and then we're waiting for the next stop. Is it breaking out, where it stays? That's the technical view. Okay, oil continued also the way up, but okay, let's go on the 4-hour chart and see also what happened. And yeah, we were right here. You see it's broke a little bit. It was pretty much stopping like pretty much like nowhere, right? Didn't reach the top, but was going up, and I was telling you pretty much also the same, you know, it could possibly try to, you know, go for, like, we need us like another bottom or something. You see, it's going in like a bit of uptrend, came back in uptrend, bigger area, so go to the next stop. You see here it's like a little bit broke the previous bottom, but still went up. So from here, of course, it does look like it wants to continue the way up, so pretty much it's better to see on the bigger time frames. Okay, so you see here as it's broke, went and then started to go up, so that's where your bottom was, you see, above the previous one. That's why the expectation, because the bottom above, that the top, next top, a possible will be breakout. So it's usually, I would say, 90%, right? So it's still 10%, it could stop underneath that level or below that, but when the bottoms are higher, we're expecting the tops higher. So it's just simple rules. So that's what has happened here. Of course, you see now it's kind of a little bit touched it. So again, if it will create maybe a pin and then it'll try to come back, then of course the possibility would be for the next bottom. And because if it will break the stop, right? So of course the possibility would be that it will just maybe stuck in this, go a little bit, but not break that bottom. Okay, so if it will do so, like go back and stays above that bottom, I mean, it might get out from this channel, but still for the stronger up, I would say if it will go and stay inside it, then from here, of course, the next expectation, smash on that top and go for a higher one, right? Again, it might not break it and stop underneath it, and then you will see where is the top will be created underneath, or above. So if it will start to create top underneath the next one, then it's more expectation, if it will not create any other ones here or create wherever, that it will go down and then take a previous bottom, okay? And then after it took previous bottom, it will be creating the next one, okay? So the next one could be above that, below that previous bottom, and then it will be waiting for the next top. And if the next top is below, again, like lower, then of course then you see it's going lower. But if we you see, like I'm saying, it might break it nicely and well, give a candle and then stay above it and concentrate in here, right? Like accumulate for the next move. So it's like different scenarios in here right now, but like I'm saying, because it's touched this, I wouldn't like buy or sell straight away in this area. I would wait for the next move, wherever it will be accumulating, or just give a pin. And if it will, like I'm saying, have a little bit of, like for example, if it just gives the pin and comes back, could possibly sell and go, but wait for the bottom. But I mean, it could be stopping here, but right, or just you know, go for like a bit of bullish little flag and then still continue the way up. So that's quite possibly be because it's already broke it. So that's why it's broke it, so we are in uptrend. Okay, so at this moment we do look like we're in uptrend. And so for example, if you don't want to go into any here, I would wait for, like, let's say, yes, it goes for whatever correction, so maybe a little bullish flag, and then placing pending orders buy. If it, like, let's say, drop even more, but again stays here, and looking for a possible entry again buy, right? Because we are looking like in a continuation of the uptrend at this moment. So I mean, anything can happen. Of course, it might have whatever big drops or something else. Just see where it stops. Of course, if there is a big drop below the next bottom, previous bottom, like this was a big one, of course we do have all those little ones, but if it like drops like quite a lot heavy, then expectation that the next top should be not above, right? So if it's like goes like somewhere, then you will be seeing more, going even more and collecting all of this. Okay, so that's the scenario. So that's why at this moment this is the waiting. For me, would have been waiting time and see what it's going to do afterwards, because you see big move, and let's say waiting for a little bit of the bullish flag, or if it will break with the candle again, where it's going to stop above and then maybe creating next bullish, or maybe it will try to go back in, and then we will see also, you will see also what to do. But this moment just to wait. Bitcoin, well, Bitcoin is doing exactly as I was telling you. So it's created the top and it's bearish. It did not go as a pattern, right? So no, it was not, and it's alright, but it still was bearish as expectation. So I put it a little bit into the downtrend. As you see, it smashed this level and went down. Now it's trying to go like wherever, a little bit underneath, like a little bit in here area. I mean, on the smaller time frames, you can say it's trying to, you know, go a little bit up, because you see this bottom above the previous one. So let's say, yeah, we can draw them and try to put it into uptrend, right? So maybe looking at that, trying to go up. So yes, and like I'm saying again, here there is no entry point, because you see it's jumped. Now you need to wait for it, where it will stop. It might stop here, okay, and go back again. So let's say if it stops here and then go back, then of course the next, will it stay in the same area, or will it be trying to break through, right? So that's why, for example, if it will go back and start to have a little bit concentration, see, like for example, if it will be staying a little bit above, then a little bit more, like might try to still continue the way. But if it will concentrate, I'll place orders both directions for like going for the smaller trades, because yes, at this moment it's still kind of bearish. We don't see any bottoms. Remember guys, we're waiting for the bottom, right? I was telling you about it. We have one bottom, but we can't connect. That level is nothing. It's just roughly, and it could be higher, lower. Is that the bottom? Could be, but I don't see it as a bottom at this moment. Okay, so I don't see it as a bottom, and it's too high. It's a little bit too early. I mean, yes, it can turn as a bullish flag a little bit, but I don't like it as much. So that's why we need a little bit more, like a little bit. The tops, you see how they're massive, they're more massive. We have massive top, a little bit massive bottom, so something like this is too tiny, right, we need a little bit more of concentration. That's why I'm more towards that it will go a little bit more down, maybe to this next bottom. I'm not sure if you have these gaps or not. If there is a gap, it should close it really, and if it will close that gap, so in bottom could be again here, yes, and then nice, it started to reverse. But if there is no gap, which could possibly be because this is the Forex broker on I'm sure on proper crypto platforms, there was no gap, but check her out if there was or not. If there was no gap, so possibly it will go a little bit more, maybe like I'm saying, to this bottom or slightly above it, and then we will be looking at a proper reverse, and we will see. But at this moment it's a bearish, very bearish. So like I'm saying once again, in here no entry points. You see it jumped from here, and now you need to wait. So if it will, maybe will go in here, start to concentrate, this could be a possible entry. And again, you see it might try to break out further, that taking that top because it stopped above this, but will not be excluding, because we're bearish that from here it will continue the way down. But like in here, if it will not even reach that and just started to sit here, like maybe a little pin or something, and from here I would be more like towards it will continue even straight away more down. So that's why you see for Bitcoin at this moment still looking like bearish, and just waiting for that movement to move somewhere, for the possible entry point to go for a short trades. I mean, I'm not talking about short just selling, I mean like smaller trades, okay, for smaller profits possibilities, not going to like a long term at this kind of moment. Okay, well, that's it. That's my view, guys, on Forex and crypto, gold, oil. Okay, so if you like the video, of course, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.